So yeah, basically, this lane's a good reference in general just for how to play a lane when both players know the matchup or it's just a stalemate matchup, and how to kind of build a lead from there and work with like finding advantages where you can't just straight up solo kill the player, or if they're even in the case they were a better player than you. So early game's pretty standard. Let him push in because he has early push and ignite and whatnot, and he's ranged. So this is all fine. We'll just speed through it a little bit because you play this well. And here we look for the punish because we know he burned E earlier, so this is good. And we get his flash, also good. Great, jungle comes along, solid. Crash, reset, everything's perfect so far. We even have a small advantage now from the kill, so. At this point, the lane is still like super winnable because we have our advantage now. So even though it's a bad matchup, it's punishable because we're looking to play around the ECD. So everything's still good. Just gonna speed through it. Time 6:30, so we pick up River Fruit. That's all correct. And so here's the first error. The initial look is wait, punish him when he goes to push, but then he gets the level up and he also has bone plating, so it becomes non-feasible for the most part. So it's okay to look. And then at this point, or even a few seconds ago when he leveled, we should probably recognize this is a little bit too severe of an advantage to overcome, so we probably just back out and catch wave. So that's the first error we made. And then here, popping the E. So generally on Riven, you don't want to E and W at the same time unless it's to set up to finish with R. Just because obviously they can't damage into your shield if they're stunned, right?
Yep.
So that's just small Riven specific, but it looks good. We have a good dodge in the E. At this point, we want to probably reevaluate.
Go to tower, man.
Yeah,
Go
reevaluate.
to tower.
Pick up the juicy wave, because you guys are pretty much at even at the moment, and once you hit level 7, it'll be
Oh my
just back to
God.
neutral game.
Yeah.
That happens.
Oh no.
It's alright, so at this point, this is pretty much where the VOD kind of starts, because we're learning to play from behind, so. At this point, range versus melee, you can't punish him, we're kind of just waiting for jungle. But on the same token, we have other ways to find advantages, either through roams mid, camps here, or anything in between. So it's fine. It's a good look. We see the Zac, and we don't win 2v2, so we just chill. We're just going to blast through. This is all fine. We let them push in. This is good. You can't always get all these ranged minions, especially when it's a range versus melee. In the case of like an Aatrox or an Ecton, oftentimes you can pick them up if you're careful, but usually you're better off conserving health in these sorts of situations. Because if you do get chunked, you're going to lose a lot more XP on the next wave when you have to base than you will from these guys. So, also, for reference, XP is absolutely always better than gold when it comes to like what you want if you're behind, and ahead in general too. Just because every level is 500 gold, which is more than a kill worth of gold. That and gold has kind of been increasing ever since like season 6, and so you'll get a lot of random gold spikes, but they don't actually mean a whole lot. Levels tend to mean a lot more. So this is fine. Pick up what we can. We're just kind of chilling for the lane phase when we're behind. A lot of times it will just be like 15-10 minutes of just straight farming, or like taking really careful trades like that under tower, and just picking up what we can. So this is all correct. Fast forward, picking up what we can. And one thing to note, actually, let me go back real quick. One thing to note is even while we're behind, oh god, even while we're behind, there's still this push and pull of like trading cooldowns and then trading priority. So you bait the E, he has to step back and trades priority. So now you get the time to control wave for 13 seconds, or however long as he is. 15. So this is good. Normally when you're behind like this, you don't want to try and hard shove this wave while you have control. Just because if you do, it'll turn into a freeze and then you're double fucked. So we did the right thing here. This is all good. Speed forward a little bit more. Not a whole lot to look at. We're just collecting waves, chilling out. Alright, jungle comes the first time. That's good. It's actually huge. Makes the matchup a lot more bearable now that we get a reset. So, even though we're still behind. Oh my god. Ahead in gold behind in XP, but behind because the matchup's rough. Get another gank. So at this point, this is like your chance to turn the game around, take it over from your point of view, essentially. Because now you're on even ground, and even you can have push advantage against him, even though you don't straight win a 1v1. So shove this out. This is all right. Yep. Pick up camps. That's good. Take our base. Correct. So at this point, we need to be looking. How can we start building the biggest gold lead we can without having to interact with the Urgot, or without having to straight try and fight a 1v1? Answer 90% of the time. This camp, this camp, this camp, as well as picking up mid farm while your team is fighting. So we'll say 3 points of reference be look here, look here, look here. Oh. Doing good. At this point, like we said earlier, still can't win the 1v1, so just pick up waves whenever we can. But in between these waves, as opposed to stepping up for trades here, we just pick up camp. I'm not actually sure where he went. Wow, he went all the way the fuck back. So we actually get a little bit more than we even should have here. So we still know at this point we can't really win the 1v1 unless we bait out the E. So if he's going to give us this much leeway, we pick up this, walk down, there's no scuttle. So we take this, or we look here potentially because we know the dragon's spawning in about 30 seconds. And this is where the sort of like push and pull of the wave and making things happen between your waves comes into play. So, you know when we first started, how I was always saying, essentially it was like between your waves, you want to sit in fog and wait for something to happen, or you want to like find a cheese trade?
Yeah.
So this is essentially the other side of that coin. So when you're looking for these cheese trades, because you're in an advantage state, this guy should be looking to accelerate his gold to get caught up to you, essentially. So he wouldn't want to like step up and push this, because you should be sitting here waiting for like a cheese trade if you were winning in this lane. So what he could have done, or what he should have done even, think of this as if you were the Urgot for a second. So you have priority, you have kill pressure. We'll go back a little bit. Like if he didn't grief this trade, even still he can kind of kill you. What we were talking about was your point of view, you can't see him at all. His point of view, he walks back, steps into this push. And this is what we were talking about from the first session. If he's an advantage, he can fake a roam to look to punish here, or walk back, sit, look for cheese trade or kill. And had he actually done that, because we face checked this,
I probably would have died.
you probably would have died, yeah.
I think I was confident I could kill him, but I don't know if I could have actually.
It'd be pretty close either way. I think we were calling it you probably could at the moment while his E was down, just because you have item advantage, gold advantage, all that jazz. But had he not taken the grief trade under tower and just walked out, faked, walked into here, and if we go to try to push up because we're trying to accelerate our gold, then we probably die. Or at least we get chunked really hard and we can't do much now. So that's like the both sides of the coins. You want to push out, collect gold to accelerate yourself. He wants to push out and then either cheese trade to force you to respect the cheese trade, or he wants to punish mid. And those are like his two options that he wants to mix up. Alright, so in this case, I don't know why he's giving you tons of space. I think maybe it's partially because he doesn't know where jungle is. Or partially because he thinks you can win the all-in as well. But we see the dragon spawning, so our two choices are dragon camp. So dragon looks fine here, just because important objective obviously, and team's winning and we have priority, so we do want to still try to be there for that. And this happens. So that's him like doing the bush cheese we were talking about earlier to find a trade, but he was just doing it in the wrong spot. He should have realistically been like here, here, or here. So he had the right idea, but wrong execution really. And then we had same thing, right idea. We're trying to accelerate our gold, so we try to pick up next camp, but wrong execution. So we should have looked either on Gromp, Dragon, Krugs. Oh, let me fast forward now. So that happens. Let me switch back. So again, let's see how much gold you had there, because I don't think it was much. So yeah, 700. So going back to what we said about trying to avoid basing when it's not like a significant advantage. Part of the best, like part of the boon of having Gore Drinker, or just lifesteal in general, is that when after you take those trades, you always have the option of pick up gold here, and you're full health again, right?
Yeah.
And same deal. Could we have picked up Krug Camp there? Yeah, we lose those, so you could have even looked for Krug here, but I understand coming through in case Urgot's in lane to help her with kill. So that's fine. Again, we push up, look for fight. This is all good, playing with the team. Nice, and then we smurf on Shaco. Gets one shot. Yep, let me step back.
Oh.
This is totally okay.
I
Yeah,
was
nothing.
gonna take Krugs, but she took them.
Yeah, I recognize that. Yeah. Nothing you can do there because she was picking up the camps. Oh. Yep, eat the wave, we're chilling. And there's the flashy. He fucking cranks. That's alright. You had the right idea there. There's no real need to worry about that too much. It's just a mechanical thing. So, for future, you can know that Urgot can E-flash to look for those like sneaky kills.
Well, it was more the fact that I thought the cooldown was longer.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was talking about. I didn't know his cooldown was that short, but I should figure that it is because it's later in the game now.
Yeah. So 13 seconds on max rank, and he has a little bit of CDR, but that's okay. Even then, it's like totally fine because there's nothing you can really do about just misunderstanding like a champion cooldown. It happens no matter how well versed you are with champions. So was the right idea? Just right idea. We just missed out on his ECD. So all right, then we're back.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. So again, right play. Come to push out top. There's no way for you to come bot. No way for you to come mid. No camps. So push out top and then potentially look to help team is the right play. Yep. Full shove, full shove. And here we should just be looking on Gromp potentially, because that's up. I understand looking for the pick here, but Shaco's super slippery, so it's pretty damn hard to ever kill him. So if this was like
ADC? Like a Felios?
yeah,
something.
like an ADC or even like who was the support last game? If it was like a Renata, you could make that same look. But in the case it's someone mobile, yeah, this is pretty hard to make. Oh, again, good luck. Pick up wave. We should look on Gromp here. Oh right, we pulled Baron, never mind. So Baron looks good. And then Dragon's coming up, so we have to walk down there. That's all good. Yep, that's all fine. We pick up the drag back out. Base for item there is okay, because I think that was to complete UDD and get the two long swords, so that was a pretty big buy. So here's part of it where it's kind of like we have to make that shift in mindset, because earlier we were teaching, you know, shove wave, look to punish, step up, and like try to test your limits a little bit. So at this point we have to make that shift in mindset of we can't punish on the side because of the matchup or because of gold lead. So at this point, accelerate our gold. We see this is up, we see this is up. I think we called to look for this. Yep, then he pushes us off, so that's okay. So if we can't take the furthest camp, we just go back to the next. Yep, then a fight breaks out.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
It's a little bad.
It's alright, it's alright. Again, like I was saying, can't change mechanical things. It's just sometimes that happens, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, so no point stressing over it. back up. At this point, nothing's on the map. And we're just looking to accelerate our gold. So there's a camp there. I think this just went down or got stolen by someone. But at the time, this looked like it was up for us. And then this bot wave is slow pushing into us as well. No, it's slow pushing out. So it's a little hard because you can't really come here because this is out. And this is pushing out as well. So you just want to look for the nearest camp. But at the time when we spawned, we had thought this was up. So normally you would want to go to this one instead. So even though I know it's gone, like 2020 force or hindsight, at the time we want to look to this because we don't know it's gone. Yep, then we come over here and look, so it's good. And again, we're just looking to accelerate gold. So we're just going to pick up our wave. We're trying to bait for the gank. That's good. We get a pick. And they're going to take Scuttle, so nothing we can do there. Alright. That's all fine. We see the 3 camps spawning, but Diana's here to pick them up, so not likely we get any of them. So walk towards mid is good. And then we're just waiting to see if a pick happens. And back to pick up bot wave. Go. We're just going to keep waiting on wave. We don't have a reasonable amount of gold to spend, so we're just chilling. There is also a potential small timer after shoveling this wave to make a walk towards mid and prep for like a fight, just because everyone's coming off base. And they're going to all walk mid as well, so there's like a very short, maybe like 30-second timer that you could come and just wait to see if like Ezreal steps up to here to push the next wave and Diana comes along. But in the case that doesn't happen, we just go straight back to bot and keep farming. Same deal.
What?
Oh, hey. So my RA is doing like rune checks at 8. So I'll just join it, but I won't be talking until it's over. It shouldn't take that long though. And I asked her to do it now, but she hasn't responded.
Huh?
Okay. We're almost out of the coaching session. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
No worries. Good. So yeah, it's good that we're paying attention to the map here. It's the right call. Go to pick up the farm. We check mid to make sure they don't get engaged on, just because we want to react if they do. Because if they fight a 4v5 and we're farming, it's probably going to go really badly. We're going to lose a lot. So we're just trying to be aware of what's on the map and pick up farm while being ready to move. So that's good. Just got to pick up. Go out and pick up. Oh, right. So one thing to recognize here, what I was trying to call for.
Yeah.
We see their stack here, so we know that Kiana's going to be solo because we also see her here. So this is like, it's a very high variance thing you can do, or like just very risky in general. But the state of the game, it feels like right now, is that we're super far behind. And we're just kind of struggling. So if you're fairly certain you can beat their flanker, or you can kill them before their team reacts, you can wait where you expect them to go and punish them when they try to get that wraparound.
For whatever reason, I thought she would be pathing to bot. Which is why I kind of sat her on the net area, but not like to where she actually went. Which I see why she actually just goes mid instead.
Yeah, because in your position here, if you were like Riven here, for example, we always call play on a flank, right?
Yeah.
And you look at this, and this is already pushing out, so more than likely, you'd come wrap around here, or around here. But because your team's like further pushed up, you'd probably come look within here to see if you could get on the side. So that's what I was trying to point out, and you can kind of see, like if you were in this position, how you'd think the same way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just something small for next time potentially. Like if you're behind and you think you can beat the other flanker slash side laner slash assassin, you can look for that sort of play. Yep, this is good. We have to protect tower, and they have Baron, so. goddamn cranks. So, only things to really point out from this fight are, even when you're behind, your role in this situation is to play on the side and punish them for overextending. So this is good. This is exactly where you want to be. And it goes well. We get the double kill.
Awesome.
Or we get the one kill and then Shaco just barely gets out. So that's good. And then here, this is just something small and mechanical. And not even small and mechanical necessarily, but at this point in the fight, usually if you have an AD left over and they're healthy like this and you're pretty beat up, you just want to play to let them do whatever they can, and then you're just going to punish if they try to punish your AD. So, you probably didn't expect to get absolutely fucking blown up like this though. So, I can understand. I can understand trying to go in there to punish too. Fast forward, it's all fine. It's good, we're back to camps. Pick up everything we can. And then there's nothing we can do about that. Let's see. How did they see we were there? Because I believe we popped... Yeah, we popped Sweeper. So that's good. There's no word there. I'm gonna guess there's one here or something. Oh no, he was just going for the Lux and we were stacked. Okay. No, it happens. There's nothing you can really do about that. But all it is just have to recognize, like, if they have a strong wombo, that stacking like that is dangerous. Or jungle corridors in general are very dangerous. But that's alright. It happens. Alright, that's pretty much all there is to that. So, main things to recognize. I know it was kind of a long one. It was very ranty, just because when you're behind, your options are super limited. So there's not a whole lot you can do. But the main thing I want you to take away from the VOD is, as opposed to like the previous ones we've been doing, where it's been a lot of like optimizing your trades so that way you have a lead and then how to extend that lead, this one's a bit of an opposite. So this one tends to be how to play defensively and how to pull your back self from a deficit so you can transition it back into a lead, essentially. So the main thing to recognize for that is at... Where is it now? At the point where we fall like significantly behind off of just like a bad play or whatever. Where was it? This one? Point where we lose our weight. We need to have like the mental awareness to be like, okay, so can't punish anymore. I can't look for like cheese bush trades because he wins some. I can't look for like, you know, huge all-ins. So I have to mentally transition into how do I just get the most gold I can without like interacting directly with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the first thing your mind should go to when you're like, okay, I'm behind, how do I pull this back without interacting, is jungle camps, roam timers, and fuck, what was the last thing? Jungle camp, roam timer, and then also just picking up waves in other lanes as well. So at that point, it's mainly just you want to be shoving your wave when you can, or you want to be playing for your jungle to come. And then whenever you can't do those things, either because they're going to freeze or because your jungle is playing up bot side, look on camps here, or look on ganks on other lanes. And I believe that's about all we wanted to take from this VOD. Let me skip forward a little bit, just to be sure. Yep, I think that's a bit of it. So, last thing just to wrap up, things we did good. So even while we're behind, we're playing this sort of side flank to look for just opportunistic times to pick up kills and catch ourselves back up. That's really good. Even though we're behind, on occasion we can win these fights if we're playing around like core cooldowns, like the Urgot. But at a point it becomes too difficult to do that, so then we transition into like a gold gathering mindset, as well as like a pressure around the map as opposed to pressure in lane mindset. And last but not least, I suppose this ties back to the point of losing the lead at first as well. Well, no, actually this was fine. We stayed a little too long, but that's okay because we called for the luck, so it's whatever. Alright, I think that's just about it for the swap. I know it was very ranty and very like one-sided communication-wise, but is there anything you're curious about or anything you had a question for on that?
No, it all makes sense.
Alright,
I
cool.
could be looking for camps more, and then also the mistake was obvious as to why I got behind, but
But it's
yeah, I
okay,
just
it
have to kind
happens,
of
because mechanical stuff just
yeah,
happens sometimes. Alright,
yeah.
awesome. And we are done.